My first introduction to Will Smith is probably a lot different from a lot of you people who are out there. Now, if you clicked on this video, obviously you know what I'm about to get into, what I'm about to talk about, because in my opinion, the jokes are over, enough is enough. Chris Rock got his little jokes in.
Now let's hear one of those jokes, bitch.
Now it's time to stop and give Will Smith his respect that he is due back, and let him back into Hollywood to start doing more movies again, because quite frankly, I miss the guy. Now I'm going to explain why he not only deserves another chance and deserves your respect. I'm going to tell you why he was put in the position that he was put in my thoughts on it. And I'm sick and tired of people taking away Will Smith's credibility and his film credibility by saying stuff like, oh, I like this film, but fuck Will Smith. No, enough is enough. Here we go. Let's get into it. And I'm going to introduce you to the very first time I knew about Will Smith. Let's get into it. At 7 years old, I got introduced, or actually not introduced, but I heard on the radio this song come on, and there was really no need to argue. Parents just didn't understand. Now, as a 7-year-old, I told you before, if you follow me before, my dad was super strict, but Will Smith, the rapper, with DJ Jazzy Jeff, was one of the very few rappers that I could listen to, get away with, because not only was he entertaining to me and a lot of other people, but he didn't swear. So it was kind of like really, really refreshing knowing that I could listen to him and Rakim, because Rakim didn't swear either. But it was very refreshing to know that I could listen to the rap music that I loved growing up and not have my father jumping down my throat. But that was my very first introduction to Will Smith. And then the legendary, most powerful show that you didn't think was powerful, I kind of more looked at it as a comedy back then. All in Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground where he spent most of his days. That's right, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That was one of the very first TV shows I ever seen him in, because it was his debut TV show. To me, Will Smith has always been an inspiration. When I got my first boombox, I bought his album, and the first song that I put in was Boom, shake, shake, shake the room. Boom, shake, shake, shake the room. And back then, he was just bringing wholesome, good music that you could vibe to. And let's not forget, everybody's favorite summertime song, you guessed it, Summertime.
And if it ain't broke, then don't try to fix it. Pop in my CD and let me run around and put your car on cruise and lay back, cause it's summertime.
It's just one of the greatest, like, feel good, play at a barbecue, play in a club, play anywhere. It just felt good. And Will Smith always kind of made that feel good music. He was not really the battle rapping type. He was not really any of that. He just made entertaining music. Let's not forget when you were growing up in Miami or anything like that.
Getting jiggy with it. Getting jiggy with it.
I mean, you couldn't go wrong with that either. You put that on the club, you can't tell me you weren't doing the dance. You were all getting jiggy with it. You can lie if you want to, it's okay. But we all knew you were getting jiggy with it in the club. And then I remember the very first movie I seen Will Smith in was the movie that me and my cousin share a deep emotion for together, which is Bad Boys. And you just can't take away what he brought to that film, along with Martin Lawrence, which now they're working on a part 4. But here's what I'm saying. After all these endless movies, and at one point, not only was Will Smith the highest paid actor, he damn near probably could have set a Guinness Book of World Records because he had multiple movies hit theaters and make over $100 million 10 times over, and nobody else was doing that. He was such a hot commodity at one time that the second you put Will Smith's name, even if he was just going to be present in the movie, you were going to see it. And yes, you could say all you want, but here's my theory. Before we get into that, let me also let you know that Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff were the first ones to stick up for rappers at the Grammys. And did you know he was the first one to win the Rap Grammys, the first ever. That's right, the first ever for Parents Just Don't Understand. And now you kind of know why I love the song so much growing up, because what's the first thing you think in your head when you are arguing with your parents? You just don't understand. And it was just such a powerful song, even being as a kid. And he stood up along with DJ Jazzy Jeff at the Grammys. They boycotted it that year that he won the award because they wouldn't let rappers perform live performances. So with that being said, if you're going to take away his film credibility, then we got to do that for every single celebrity who has gotten in trouble for, I don't know, sexual misconduct, rape charges, pedophiling, thievery, robbing. The list goes on. So if we're going to do that, let's take a moment to just talk real quick about Harvey Weinstein and the Weinstein Company. All these sexual allegations, and not for 1 minute did anybody take away the credibility of the production of the movies that his production company helped fund and make. And don't you actors or directors tell me that you didn't know what was going on. You guys just turned a blind eye because he was paying your way. But let's take a little quick glance at, if we were to start taking away the credibility of producers and directors and celebrities, and every time they get into trouble, let me step aside and show you the little list that we would have to scroll through with the Harvey Weinstein Company and all of the different movies that they helped produce, or that Harvey Weinstein helped produce, while at the same time getting sexual favors, all while trying to get actresses and maybe some actors that didn't want to come forward, because you never know nowadays. All these movies would be gone. Bye-bye Quentin Tarantino. Bye-bye every actor that acted in those movies. Bye-bye John Travolta's career, because if it wasn't for Quentin Tarantino taking a risk on you, which by the way, Harvey Weinstein didn't want to, he tried to talk Quentin Tarantino out of it. Just a little tidbit for you. You know, we wouldn't have all these great movies. Look at the Jeepers Creepers director. That guy was a pedophile and was sexually harassing little boys. Do we take away his film credibility? Nope. Everybody still puts Jeepers Creepers at the top of their horror list because it's such a great movie. I'm just saying, if you're going to do that on Will Smith because he did one little slap, and yes, okay, let's end the controversy here. At first, he was laughing, and I get that, but you can laugh at something while your wife is sitting right next to you. She may not find it funny. Now, my wife is different because when we go to comedy shows, we've been picked on at comedy shows because we've sat in the front row at Bob Saget's, rest in peace, show out here in North Carolina. He came to a comedy store and we went, and he had a guy named Who the Fuck Is Mike? And yes, it's his actual real name. I'll leave his Instagram down below. He's a funny ass dude. But Mike saw me and my wife, and he could tell that we weren't from North Carolina just because of the way we spoke and all that. And he was getting on us. And me and my wife just laughed because you're at a comedy show. Well, I hate to tell you, but at the award show, that's not a comedy show. So when he looked over at his wife, he saw that she was uncomfortable. While he laughed at the joke at first, his wife didn't find it funny. Sorry, but If I was put in a position like that and, I don't know, I was a celebrity, which won't never happen, but if I was a celebrity and my wife felt uncomfortable, granted, I might have handled it a different way. I might have waited till he got outside and then smacked the shit out of him. So either way, Will Smith probably still would have ended up slapping Chris Rock, whether it was on stage or backstage, because his wife felt uncomfortable. Now I know what you're gonna say. His wife made Will Smith cry when she opened up about cheating on him because, all that riffraff. We all know the story. But he chose to forgive her. And honestly, if he wasn't a celebrity and they were just a regular couple, would you really honestly care if she cheated on him and he forgave her? No. It's because they were a celebrity couple and that you never really heard anything about them in the tabloids until recently or a couple years back. It's his decision to forgive her and move on. It is not your decision, nor is it your decision to judge what he did for his wife. That's his wife. That's his woman. That's how he feels. I'm just simply saying, if we're going to start doing this, oh, I like the film, but fuck Will Smith. Will Smith made the film that you're talking about. Independence Day wouldn't be what it was if it wasn't for Will Smith. Period. Nobody else made that movie. Will made that movie.
And what the hell is that smell? I could have been at a barbecue.
Bad Boys. While Martin Lawrence was great, and if you watch my videos, Andrew Robertson dropped a little thing about who was originally supposed to be in the Bad Boys role.
Will Smith, Martin Lawrence's chemistry, never better than their, oddly enough, Bad Boys was originally written for Dana Carvey and, it was originally written for Dana Carvey and
John Lovitz.
John Lovitz. Thank you, Christy's tuning in here. John Lovitz. Dana Carvey and John Lovitz were originally supposed to be in Bad Boys 1, but
it still wouldn't have came out to be the same movie. Will Smith made that movie, Mike Lowry. And then let's not forget, his wife and him, they donate millions of dollars to charities, and you don't really hear anything about it because they don't make it public. It just has to stop. It doesn't necessarily have to take one thing to ruin, something. And I feel like this slap has really brought Will Smith way out of bounds. Like, you can't take away what he has done for films. You can't take away the movies, the countless movies that he has starred in. If you tell me that The Pursuit of Happiness wasn't one of his best roles and made you cry or feel that sympathy, he pulled you into that movie so much that you felt like you were him for a minute. And if you were a dad, a single dad that had their, significant other walk out on them because things got too tough, you really felt that role, that emotion. So if you tell me that you didn't feel that emotion or love that movie, I got a question about how cold your heart really is. Ali, can you picture anybody else playing Ali the way that Will Smith did? No. Could you picture anybody else starring in the movie Concussion and willing to take a stand and be bold about what's really going on in the NFL, but that movie flew under the radar because the NFL doesn't want to let out their actual real secrets? No, you can't picture anybody else in that. Will Smith gives 100% every time he steps in there. While yes, he has stuntmen that do stunts for him, I would too. And I mean, it's just the way it is. All I'm saying is we should just stop worrying about this slap that was heard around the world. I don't care if it's going to be there forever. Chris Rock has to live with that. Will Smith tried to apologize. Chris Rock is being a little bitch by saying, oh, I'm not taking his apology. Whatever. Whether you think it was sincere or not, I thought it was. That's just me. But then again, I'm a Will Smith fan. In this Hollywood industry, there's a lot worse than Will Smith. I mean, we're still giving Kanye West chances. How many chances are we going to give that clown? Who knows? If you want to talk about all these other celebrities that have done something wrong, I mean, the list goes on. But I have always learned to separate their personal life. It is their personal life. It's the paparazzi that decides to put it in the public spotlight and the news to put it in the public spotlight, and most of the time it's just to distract you from finding out what's really going on behind closed doors. I hope you come back. I hope this video didn't really throw you off too much, but I am so tired of people talking shit about Will Smith, and he really doesn't deserve it. He slapped somebody. Get over it. This has been yours truly, Nick, a Movie AV Impulse. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, everything that every other YouTuber tells you to do. And on Wednesday, I am going to give you my top 5 Will Smith movies. That's right, it's Will Smith week. So you're getting today's video, and Wednesday's video is top 5 Will Smith, because I love Will Smith, and even though he'll never see this video and he could probably give 2 shits about me talking about him, hey, I just want the man to have his credibility back, and enough is enough, because like I said, he does endless work in Hollywood. A lot of people wouldn't even have a career if it wasn't for him. I will see you on Wednesday. Peace.
Thank you. You love me.